Hey, welcome back to the series that we've been doing on Red Taylor's version. I've been going track by track to see if I can find a deeper meaning within each of the songs. Today we're on track 3, which is titled Treacherous. Before we get started, I wanted to mention that I forgot to listen to an excerpt of the original version of Red, the song, in my last video, so I won't forget today. But let's just get started with the Taylor's version.
Put your lips close to mine, as long as they don't touch. Out of focus, eye to eye, till the gravity's too much. And I'll do anything you say, if you say it with your hands. And I'd be smart to walk away, but you're quicksand.
Alright, so let's read those lyrics that we just heard. It says, put your lips close to mine as long as they don't touch, out of focus eye to eye till the gravity's too much. And I'll do anything you say if you say it with your hands, and I'd be smart to walk away, but you're quicksand. So those first lines kind of make me think of tension, because when it says put their lips close to each other, but they're looking eye to eye and the gravity's too much, that kind of makes me think that they are trying to resist each other. And maybe it's not working, so maybe there's some sort of like sexual tension there, or maybe I'm completely off base with that part. But it's saying I'd be smart to walk away, but you're quicksand. So that just means that this person is still being engulfed by this person in the relationship. And I know some of my comments did tell me that Taylor's version explores a lot of topics, but so far, I still think this is kind of already talking about the same relationship that we've been kind of learning about for the last 3 tracks, that it's a person that they just can't seem to escape. So I'm still going with that, but let's just keep listening.
This slope is treacherous, this path is irregular. This slope is treacherous, and I like it.
Okay, so that was the chorus. I will say that this is the first track to me that really sounds country. I'm not sure if it's the instruments or if it's just the way she's delivering this one, but I actually would believe this is a country song. And the chorus said, this slope is treacherous, this path is reckless, this slope is treacherous, and I like it. And I like the word slope because you always think of a slippery slope, and it's always easy to fall back into patterns, and I think that's exactly what she's saying. I mean, you could fall back in a lot of different things, but in her case, it's a relationship that she keeps slipping back into. But apparently she likes that, so it's something that she maybe needs to give up, but clearly still falls back into the same patterns and keeps doing the same things over and over. It kind of reminds me of the show Friends, where it's like the lobsters, where like they just keep coming back to each other because that's their person. Kind of reminds me of that, because like she at least likes it. It's like a relationship that maybe feels comfortable to her. But let's just keep listening.
I can't decide if it's a choice, getting swept away. I hear the sound of my own voice, asking you to stay. All we are is skin and bone, trained to get along. Forever going with the flow, but your friction. This slope is treacherous, this path is reckless. This slope is treacherous, I like it.
So the second verse said, I can't decide if it's a choice, getting swept away. I hear the sound of my own voice asking you to stay. All we are is skin and bones, trained to get along, forever going with the flow, but your friction. She's saying that, so when she says, I can't decide if it's a choice, getting swept away, it feels like maybe it was involuntary for her and she's maybe thinking to herself, like, am I the problem here? Or does everyone go through this same experience of falling back into, like I said, into those patterns? And then right after that, saying, all we are is skin and bones trained to get along. I'm not really sure how that goes into the relationship aspect, but that's kind of an interesting way of saying that maybe there are societal expectations from people. Like, all we are in skin and bones. You could argue that's about every human. We are all skin and bones, and we're trained to get along. And that's maybe saying with our cultures and our society, saying that we are meant to coexist, I guess, and forever going with the flow, but you're friction. So she's doing the things that people expect. Maybe in this relationship, like she's maybe broke it off or something like that. She's doing what most people would look at and say, this is what you need to do. But this person is friction, which is leading her to do the opposite. So I'm not sure if this one's still about a toxic relationship, but it could apply here to me as well, because friction seems like something you don't want to do and it keeps happening. So that's kind of an interesting way of putting that. But I think we're actually about to get into the bridge. So I know sometimes a Taylor Swift bridge will completely change the song for me. So let's just keep going. All right, so that said, 2 headlights shine through the sleepless nights, and I will get you alone. Your name has echoed through my mind, and I think you should know that nothing safe is worth the drive. So now with this perspective, I definitely think all of the tracks I've heard from Red's Taylor's version is connected, because there was a lyric, I want to say in Red, where it says, I still see it all in my head, and that said, it echoes through her mind, so it's someone, again, she can't just let go of. And then 2 headlights shine. I'm not sure if it's a real big connection. I might be stretching this one. But in the first track, State of Grace, she said something about like 4 eyes staring into each other. And I kind of think about that with 2 headlights. It's like maybe they're coming meet each other to have those times alone, because State of Grace was kind of saying like, once I get this person alone, we work. But to everyone else, maybe they don't. So that's kind of the things that I've gotten out of these tracks so far. So I am leaning more towards these are definitely connected, or at least about the same relationship, but maybe it was like a on again and off again, and maybe these are different fractions or different experiences of their relationship throughout time. That would be an interesting concept. I'm not sure if that's what this is, but that would be kind of a cool way to see how her perspective changes throughout the album with this person.
This hope is treacherous. This daydream is dangerous. This hope is treacherous.
I really like that build up with this part. I don't think I said it the first time, but I think nothing safe is worth the drive makes me think of a hookup. And I don't know if that's right, but like, like a drunk text or a hookup text at like 2 a.m. and saying maybe nothing safe is worth the drive. Maybe this is something you shouldn't do, and maybe a sober mind or a middle of the day mind would not be making the decisions that you're about to make by driving in your car to do whatever you're about to do. But that's just my thoughts about that. that was the end of Treacherous Taylor's version. I think I kind of have a good understanding of what the song is about. I can't tell if I'm getting good at this because we're a couple of albums in, or are the red tracks just maybe a little bit easier to decode because it's not having made up stories like Folklore did, or I don't know, but I feel like I'm following this pretty cohesively so far. Considering there are 27 more, things can obviously change. I shouldn't be too confident. But let's really quick, I don't want to play the whole thing. I just like to play a little excerpt to see if I can actually hear a difference between the versions. So I'm going to really quickly play the original 2012 version of Treacherous. So the instruments I definitely think sound the closest than they have in the other two tracks. The only thing I ever noticed in the other tracks so far were a little bit different instrumentation, but I think this was very close. The only thing I hear is I think there's something in this original version that plays in the background, but I can't tell exactly what that is.
Too much, and I'll do anything you say if you say it with your hands.
Okay, I actually think that her voice sounds very different in this one to me. I kind of said that in the first couple tracks, but it's not a bad thing. It's just she sounds much younger. I'm curious to know if like her voice just maybe got deeper as she's gotten older, maybe if she's just overall better vocally now. But you could definitely hear that she has a more innocent sounding voice to me when she sings these songs.
And I'd be smart to walk away, but you're quicksand. This slow is treachery.
Yeah, overall, I think if you're not a super fan, you could totally play both of these versions and not really know a difference. But if you do play them back to back, you can kind of hear the subtle differences between this one. But yeah, that will be the video of Treacherous. Tell me if I'm missing anything or just your overall thoughts on the song. But as always, thank you for watching.